Imagine living in one of the coldest places on Earth where survival is harder than anywhere else. But did you know that in some Inuit cultures, it was customary for women to sleep freely with guests? Was this a symbol of hospitality, or was there something more to it? But what is the truth? Is this a cultural misunderstanding, or did such a tradition truly exist in the past? And if it did, does it still continue today? Getting to know the Eskimos. Inuit. 1. Who are the Eskimos? The Eskimos are a group of indigenous people living in Canada, Alaska, Greenland, and Siberia. However, the term Eskimo has been largely abandoned in many regions, as some consider it offensive. Most of these people refer to themselves as Inuit, which means the people in the Inuktitut language. 2. Eskimo living conditions, climate, and environment. They live in one of the harshest environments on Earth, where winter temperatures can drop to 50 degrees, 58 degrees. Traditional homes. In winter, they used igloos as shelters, though today most Inuit live in modern houses. Food sources. Hunting has always played a vital role in their survival. They primarily hunted caribou, seals, whales, and fish. Since farming is impossible in the Arctic, their diet has been almost entirely meat-based, and their bodies have adapted to consuming high amounts of animal fat. 3. Inuit culture and beliefs. Social structure. Inuit communities were usually small and family-oriented. Cooperation and resource sharing were essential for survival. Hospitality. One of the key aspects of Inuit culture is generosity and hospitality. In the harsh Arctic, travelers arriving from long journeys needed shelter and food. Spiritual beliefs. The Inuit followed shamanistic traditions, where spiritual leaders communicated with nature's spirits and performed rituals for successful hunts. 4. The modern Inuit. With the arrival of Europeans and modernization, Inuit lifestyles have changed. Today, many live in small towns with modern amenities and have contemporary jobs. Climate change has also affected their traditional ways of hunting. While some old customs have faded, the Inuit still take pride in their language and cultural heritage. The life of the Inuit is a blend of survival in extreme conditions, social unity, and deep respect for nature. Which aspect interests you the most? The special hospitality of the Eskimos, truth, or myth? 1. What's the story? One of the most controversial beliefs about the Inuit is that in the past, some of them offered their wives to guests for the night. This idea comes from the reports of early explorers and travelers. But is it really true? 2. Possible explanations for this practice. Some researchers suggest the following reasons. Extreme hospitality. In the harsh Arctic, hospitality was vital for survival. This practice might have been a sign of trust and acceptance of a guest into the family. Genetic diversity. In small, isolated communities, genetic diversity was low. Some believe this custom might have helped prevent genetic disorders caused by inbreeding. Misinterpretation by Western explorers. Many anthropologists argue that Westerners may have misunderstood Inuit social customs. For example, a warm and welcoming attitude from Inuit women might have been mistaken for an invitation to intimacy. 3. Does this practice still exist? Modern Inuit reject this claim, calling it a myth or cultural misunderstanding. Some studies suggest that in the past, some Inuit men allowed their wives to sleep beside guests as a sign of trust, but this did not necessarily imply sexual relations. 4. The impact of modernization. Over time, with the introduction of modern education and laws, even if such customs once existed, they have completely disappeared. Today, Inuit marriages and relationships are like those of any other culture. 5. Conclusion. If this practice ever existed, it was likely due to cultural and survival reasons. However, many believe it was a historical misunderstanding or media exaggeration. What do you think? Could modern societies also have behaviors that might be misinterpreted in the future? Eskimo hospitality. Fact or fiction? Fact. Some historical reports suggest that in the past, certain Inuit may have allowed their wives to sleep beside guests, possibly as a sign of trust or hospitality. Fiction. There is no solid evidence that this was a widespread or obligatory practice. Many researchers believe that Western explorers misunderstood or exaggerated this custom. Final verdict. If this tradition ever existed, it was likely rare and not a cultural norm. Modern Inuit completely deny its existence. Women's freedom or cultural obligation? Freedom of women. Some believe that if this practice existed, perhaps women had the choice and it was simply a part of Inuit hospitality. Inuit women have traditionally played a crucial role in family and survival. Cultural pressure. However, in survival-based societies, social pressure can replace individual choice. If this practice existed, it might have been a cultural expectation rather than a voluntary decision. Key takeaway. In traditional cultures, the line between freedom and cultural obligation is often unclear. Could there be behaviors in today's world that we consider normal, but might be seen differently in the future? Now that we've explored all sides, what do you think? Was this a historical misunderstanding or a hidden truth buried in the past? Could modern traditions be seen as strange in the future? Are there any customs today that seem normal to us but might be considered bizarre or controversial in the future? What example would you give? Culture is always evolving, and the truth is always more complex than it seems. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more about unknown cultures, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Also, don't forget to like the video and share it with your friends. Until the next video, goodbye.